Lavos Prime. Just got him, but I've loved the original Lavos, and I'm just going to share to you my what I've built him for. So for the mods, corrosive projection uses more enemies lose armor. Pretty good. Prime sure footed just because the passive of status immunity doesn't isn't really that like 100% uptime. Sure, I do use transmutation probe to turn energy and health orbs to universal orbs, but it's still not guaranteed. Now, you might be wondering, that's three Umbral Formas. From what I've seen from different morphing creators to people on the Reddit, they prefer using the triple Umbra setup, which I then tried and I do also prefer. A triple Umbra setup gives me a lot of health and armor, and we'll get to why I have almost more than 2,800 armor layer work. But first, we have Nearest Hatred for more health and ability duration. Carnage Carapace gives armor and health. Valence Formation, one of my favorite augments. I have the other augments here, but I don't really use it that much. I use Lavos more of a weapons platform, and you'll see that in some of my builds, in my weapon builds. Rolling Guard is purely there if in case I get hit with a magnetic status effect, or I got hit with ability nullifier. Since Arcane Persistence is turned off by those, at least I can get away in time. And if I don't get away in time, I still have 90% damage reduction thanks to my 2,825 armor. Arcane Grace for passive healing. It's not much, but it's very consistent and it's there if I need to. I still have my one, which heals a lot, especially if you hit many enemies at once. For the Arcane Shards, I just have two Tau Forge casting speed shards and three armor shards, which helps me get to that much armor. For the weapons, I actually have I like the Cedo Prime. One of my favorite weapons, even in its base form. When I got the Cedo back then, it was one of my most favorite guns. And I just got the Cedo Prime recently, and it's been so fun using it. Especially like how the Altfire can also apply the four basic elements: heat, cold, electric, and toxin, which my the build that I'm using uses primary frostbite. I still haven't gotten it to max rank yet, but I'm getting there. I'm farming for it. And yeah, basically it's a good status and a DPS gun at the same time. Very good crits too. One of my favorite weapons. Next, I have the Laetum, which here are the evolutions. I mainly have the minus 40% weapon recoil. The magazine reload when holstered. I'll explain that. Headshot build up more incarnate charges and devouring attrition. So I mainly have the Laetum as a acolyte killer or a boss killer. Since devouring attrition bypasses the damage attenuation that acolytes have, or in general most enemies with damage attenuation, I have the Laetum just in case I encounter those enemies. How do I how do I stack up the heat procs? or why do I need even heat procs first? I use Cascadia Flare so that I'm ready to shoot whenever. I do have heat built into my setup, but I also use the heat from the Cedo Prime so that it continuously stacks Cascadia Flare so that when the time comes when I need the Laetum, I can just shoot it. It's most of my builds are kind of synergistic, have a certain synergy with each other. Like my Praedos, which absolutely looks good on Lavos Prime. My evolutions for the Praedos, the Drifting Grace, Adept Reflexes, Evolve Ascension, and Universal Reticence. For Evolution 5, I sometimes switch it up to like heavy attack wind-up speed or heavy attack efficiency in case I do misclick and do a heavy attack. But with how I build the Praedos, it's not really really a problem building comp. Here's the Praedos build. Berserker Fury, Weeping Winds, Blood Rush, me, Melee Elementalist, Prime Breach, Discipline Merit, Molten Impact, Magnetic Rush. And we also have Melee Influence. Why Melee Influence? It has a very cool like interaction with the Praedos or in general with Tonfas and their stances, which I'll get to show you later. And you might say there's no electric. Well, this is the Lavos build that I use because it's only going to be useful to Lavos or Vault with the Shock Trooper augment, but mainly on Lavos because most of the time I'll just imbue electricity and use one of his skills. I'll have electric or forced electric status effects on my melee on my weapon attacks, which triggers melee influence. I'll be showing how broken the Praedos is, because like it's really insane how broken it is while also being so fun at the same time. Like it's so surreal.
Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support. If you have enough room, this would be an excellent place to deploy it. detected. Extraction is ready. These manifestations, they aren't really neural sentry. Destroy them. They are drawing from your life support. of continuity syndrome. Her essence may still be. Void manifestations drawn to this cursed place of stolen lives. They will drain your life support unless they are destroyed.
As you conquer the foe, so you conquer yourself.